Hey there, Rob Dellamore from Foot Traffic Endurance Sports Coaching. As you can see, here I am, lovely Pilot Bay, Mount Maunganui, Bay Plenty. Today we're just going to take you over the course for the Tauranga Half triathlon, and we're going to show you the sections of the swim, the bike and the run, which are useful for you to know in your training and coming through to the race. Here we are down at the swim course down in Pilot Bay. The swim starts just over there, just ahead of us, and you're going to swim down towards the port, take a right hand turn outward a little bit, another right hand turn, and then you swim a long leg down towards the end of the mount, down towards the corner, take another right hander in towards the shore, and another right hander where you come along the front of all these boats along the shoreline towards the final buoy, just by the port again, left turn into the beach. A couple of things you need to be aware of. You could be racing on various tides, high tide, low tide. Which tide you swim in is going to affect how you'll tackle the swim, because obviously the water's moving in different directions. So it's really important to jump in and practice swimming in various tides. So I would suggest looking at the tide that you'll be planning to race on, and trying to find out when's the date that you can match that tide to go and train. Often there's a swim race down here on the Thursday night before the Saturday half, and it's a great idea to come down and do that, because they try and put it on where it matches the tide. Highly recommend that. I recommend all my athletes come and do it, and I certainly think it's a good idea for people of all levels to come down and do that. Give yourself a chance to check the course out, give yourself an idea as to where the tide's running and how you may tackle it on race day. A couple of things you need to be aware of. We've obviously got boats in the harbour, in the bay. They're not going to remove the boats on race day, which I think is a great thing, because it adds a little bit of tactics, it adds a bit of planning to it. Whether you go one side or the other of the boat, it comes down to how well you know the water, how well you trust the people around you, and whether you've had experiences in different tides, different sea conditions. So the thing that I always look at when I know the tide that we're going to be racing on is and also during the race, I try to make sure I keep an eye on this stuff, is the direction the boats are pointing. Obviously the bow of the boat is anchored, the stern is allowed to move where the water wants it to move. So some of these boats you'll see the stern is this direction, however some of them may only be 10-20 metres away and the stern's in the total opposite direction. And that just tells you that the water around that area is moving in certain ways, and as you get towards the boat, you'll pick up the direction that the water's moving in, and you can prepare yourself whether you need to work a little bit harder, or if you have to stay on one side of the boat or the other, or if you're going to get a little bit of a free ride because you're going with the tide. It's really important. So I can't emphasize enough how well you have to know this swim course. You can lose minutes. You can lose minutes in the swim, and if you're racing for a good age group result, minutes can mean a lot. So the other thing to be aware of is obviously the shallower the water, the more likely you are to touch the bottom or swimming in very shallow water, and that's also quite slow as well. So you want to avoid swimming in too shallow water, and also you want to avoid swimming in water that's moving against you. So somewhere in the middle is going to be the perfect place. The other thing is, remember that the bay is shaped in an arc. So if you try and mark yourself off the beach, you're actually going to be swimming in an arc. The best thing to do is to swim in a straight line. And so as you go around that far turn, you look at the wharf and you pin it for the wharf, which means you may leave the beach a little bit. You may move away from the beach a little bit further, but you're actually swimming a straight line. One thing to be really aware of is the time of the morning that you're going to be racing in. The sun's going to be coming up behind the port as well, which makes these buoys really hard to see. So I recommend, if it's a bright day, to use a tinted goggle, and if it's a reasonably dark morning, to have a low light goggle on, just so you can see the buoys better. It's always better for you to swim to the buoy that you can see rather than swimming to the group that are in front of you, because you don't know if that group's actually swimming the right line anyway. So trust your own judgment in sighting.